170,000. That's the number of 944 units Porsche sold between 1982 to 1991 in a couple different versions. The Turbo, the S, and the S2, like this one. But in the late 80s, sales declined and it led Porsche to make a newer version, the S3. But the newer version was so different and new that they called it a whole new model, the 968. The 968 keeps the same formula of the 944 with the 3-liter engine up front. Only a couple of thousand units were sold between 1992 to 1995. And today, we're spending time with one of 3 that were imported here to the Holy Land. To understand the origin of the 968, we need to take a step back to the 70s. Every car enthusiast knows that Porsche's main recipe is a rear engine and the air-cooled engine. But in this case, it's different. It's a water-cooled 4-cylinder front-mounted engine. This recipe started in the 70s with the 924. In the 80s, the 924 evolved to the more famous 944, which sold 170,000 units. A couple made their way here to the Holy Land. In 1992, Porsche started selling this model, the 968. The 968 was born in a difficult era for Porsche. After a great success of the 944, in the late 80s, sales declined because the model was too old. And the early 1990s saw a small recession that especially affected the US market, which led to car sales decline, especially luxury and sports car. So Porsche had to make something different to attract buyers to its entry-level model. And then the 968 came. But it couldn't recreate the success of the 944. The 968 was sold only between 1992 to 1995, and it sold less than 30,000 units. The biggest difference is under the hood. Although it shared the same 4-cylinder engine that actually was the largest 4-cylinder engine at that time with a 3-liter displacement, it now had a new VarioCam system, a variable valve timing that boosts up the power to about 240 horsepower at total, which is a lot. Combined with a 6-speed manual transmission, this car could do 0 to 60 at around 6.5 seconds. That's fast. Although the 968 is an evolution of the 944, the design is not the same at all. It's more similar to the 928. You don't have sharp lines over here like we had in the 80s, but a more curvy look. But there is one detail that left from the 80s. We had the pop-up headlights in some cars, and in the 968 at first sight you may think that the headlights are fixed in place, but it's actually one of the trademarks of the 968. When you turn on the headlights, they pop up. In terms of driving experience, although the engine sits up front, the transmission is on the rear axle, which makes an ideal weight distribution of around 50-50. It's a Porsche, so you know the steering is precise, it has a great feedback, and because the engine is not back there, you're not afraid to lose your tail when cornering hard. The 968 is quick, but it feels very stable and you can build confidence with it pretty quick. Although it's a naturally aspirated engine, you can feel the difference immediately. This engine is strong, quick to respond, and it has great power, especially in the mid-range RPM. It also doesn't sound like a 4-cylinder engine. It's not a 6-cylinder, but take a listen. There's no doubt that the real magic of the 968 is in the driving experience. Its low center of gravity and the perfect balance give you a sense of connection that it's very hard to find on newer cars. The 968 came with a couple of versions. The main two are 6,000 units produced in a coupe, 4,000 in cabriolet like this one. You also got the Club Sport, which is actually a coupe that reduced its weight by 100 kilograms, and it's lost a lot of amenity. You have another two turbo versions, the Turbo S and the Turbo RS. Those versions are very hard to find today because they made only 10 or 15 of them. Although it's a 30-year-old car, it's a car from the 90s already, and you can see it's modern. Everything here is powered operated. You have two airbags, and the design aged well, not only on the inside but on the outside as well. So if we're talking about daily use, because you don't got an engine back there, you got a nice boot. The 968 trunk have a nice safety feature, so you won't lose your key. You can only shut it with the key in the lock. The 968 was supposed to be a 4-seater, and it actually is. Here's a nice detail not everybody knows. The 968 sold in Europe as a 4-seater, but when imported to the US, to comply with safety regulation, it had to take off the two seats in the back and put chassis reinforcement, as you can see here. Well, I guess you couldn't really fit someone back there, maybe a small child. So instead of two seats, you got more storage place. Already during the production time of the 968, Porsche started working on its replacement, the Boxster, which exists until this day. They didn't continue with the recipe of the front engine, and actually Porsche didn't make one until 10 years later with the Porsche Cayenne. Speaking about value, I think as the 968 age and as analog and communicative sports cars start being more and more rare, the 968 will shoot up in value more and more. And the more you couldn't find cars like this in decent shape, their price and value will just go up. So that's it. That was the Porsche 968. It's not the most famous Porsche, but it's definitely a cool, rare, and very fun to drive one. The 968 represents the time where Porsche tried to do things different and had the balls to do so. And the 968 do it very well. If you like the video, let me know in the comments so I will make more videos like this. Give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you hadn't do so yet. See you on the next time.